start us off. Liam, do you have an update on Diallo, his injury?
Nothing yet. We'll kind of get that stuff out to the in the injury report today.
Okay. Do you expect it to be a long-term thing? Or?
Can't tell you right now. Yeah.
Going up against Kyle Shanahan, what's sort of a challenge, a unique challenge that his clubs will present?
Yeah, very well coached in all three phases. Offensively, very detailed, the wide zone, mix it with some gap and perimeter, and then the just the illusion of the run with the formations and the keepers, the boots and the play pass is all pretty clean. They've done a nice job. I have a ton of respect for Kyle, obviously offensively, but also as a coach and what he's been able to do there in San Fran, playing against those guys for so long, being in LA. So defensively, they fly around. There's a huge, clear distinction in terms of the way that they play, very similar to the defense we just played, in the way that they attack, the way that they run to the football, the way that Fred tries to take the ball away, right? And then on special teams, very well coached. Brant Boyer's been an NFL special teams coach for a long time. And you can see that the way that they play on teams, very similar to the way that they play on defense, and very similar to the way that they try to run the ball and impose their will physically on offense. So a lot of respect.
You mentioned Fred Warner. What makes him such a unique player in this league?
The athletic ability, obviously, the length, his ability to dissect all the different schemes. He plays with a ton of patience, knowing that he does have the ability to go run, change direction, redirect, dissecting the pass game and making plays in zone coverage. So, yeah, I've competed against Fred for a long time, and, a ton of respect, obviously, for the way that he plays. We've got to make sure we get a hat on him in every possible scenario.
Look it up. I didn't know. You guys did play them with the Bucks when you were there last year. What's the biggest takeaway from that matchup?
I don't think we ran it great in that game. I know we didn't have Mike, CG, J-Mac, or, I think we were really down. So Baker gave us a chance at the end of the game. We went down, had a chance in the red zone to go win the game, ended up settling for a field goal, and then they had a 2-minute drive to go win it. So it's the physicality. It's going to be a very violent game, I can imagine, again. And they don't really panic, right? Like, they've been to Super Bowl, right, over the last few years, been in division championship games, so they do know how to win. Obviously, they're 3-0 with the injuries that they've had, speaks so much to probably the culture, the way that they operate, the way that they practice. So last year was just, we were down a little bit, no excuse, because they've been down guys too and found ways to win games. And, we just didn't end up pulling that one out. I thought we played hard, thought we played tough, played physical. We just didn't make enough plays in the pass game, really to go and stretch them at all, to make them respect us.
They rushed 5 a couple times against Arizona, but they're a 4-man rush. How much discipline is required by Trevor to sort of just
huge, because that's basically what the scheme is saying out loud, is we are going to play this defense, obviously try to get after you with 4, which they've been able to do, and say you're going to get greedy at some point, you're going to get bored at some point of kind of playing the 12 to 15 and in game, right? Because they do play a ton of quarters, lead the NFL, I believe, in shell coverage and quarters and cover 6, quarter, half variations. We'll see if that holds true this week for sure, but that's definitely what they've wanted to do through 3 games, and it just makes you, as a play caller and as a quarterback, have to be patient and meticulous and just keep taking what they end up giving you. And then, we have to take advantage of the ops that we do get down the field that we didn't take advantage of this past week, and to get them to initially maybe get into some single high, to be able to go throw it a little bit more, whatever it is. But they definitely, it's a patient defense, because they're saying you're just going to – it's really hard to say we got to go operate for 10, 11 plays and go execute all those 10 plays up and down the field, they're counting on not giving up the explosives so that they can say you're gonna punt to us more than you're gonna score if you have to go on these long extended drives.
Is Travis Hunter fully where he needs to be in terms of knowing where to line up, motion, all that other stuff, or is he a little behind there?
I would say he's behind. I think we can probably do a better job of helping him in some ways. We had a great talk with Trav after this past game in terms of just, man, like, all right, how can we help you and put you, because he's, guys, right, what is he learning? It's a lot. So we've got to, I think, be a little bit more diligent in terms of putting him in positions to maybe not have to do as many moving parts, so that we can just let him go play. You saw, he catches the out cut the other day and makes multiple people miss, and so that's what we're trying to continue to push, and that's got to be on us as well. Yeah, he has a hand in it for sure, absolutely, but I do think we can help him more.
You talked on Monday, on Monday about needing some time to find out what your team is good at offensively. How close are you to that at this point?
Yeah, I think we're getting there. You saw glimpses within the first 2 weeks. You saw glimpses of it on Saturday. The touchdown drive early in the game was operating at the level on which you want to be able to go operate at, and throwing and catching and just doing those little things can probably lead to having a little bit more balanced execution. In a game like that this past week where they did some things to take away what we've done best thus far, which was run the football, and we didn't make them pay in the pass game. So we are still trying to figure out what it is truly we are best at in the pass game and what that looks like, and also from a run scheme standpoint, hey, we got to be able to do what we do best, and people have to stop that as well. Instead of, man, they do this, so we have to do that. It's like, man, we got to go do what we do best. So, I mean, not personally, but I think it's just about, okay, we're obviously got a 5-hour flight. We're trying to keep these guys in their East Coast rhythm and routine as much as possible. So we are kind of tailoring the schedule to that so that we won't, maybe feel those effects as much. I think if you're going out to play, obviously, an organization and a team as competitive as San Fran is, I think I'm very hopeful that these guys will be up for this. It's more just about managing the 5-hour flight, the hydration, the sleep, and making sure that these guys are getting into the mindset for a business trip that it is. So not concerned, but just definitely something we've had to be a little bit aware of with our scheduling and our planning for sure. We're just starting a little earlier Saturday. Yeah, so we're just starting Saturday. Yeah, so we're starting Saturday morning earlier. Get out, get on the flight, get our meetings done when we get there. And then obviously, curfew or, bed check will be just earlier because it'll basically be, midnight or 1 a.m. on our time. So trying to just go as late as we can to not get out of our rhythm and routine as much as possible.
Do you view Hunter's usage independently from other position groups? Meaning just if there's an injury at wide receiver, an injury at corner, does his usage, is it fluid?
Yeah, he's right now one position on offense and one position on defense. So that doesn't really fully change. It's just more the next guy having to go and adjust to go play some Z, which is what happened in the game. So no, I don't think it changes much.
And that's not going to change until after this season, where he'll spread his wings a little bit on offense.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair right now to say, hey, dude, go learn Z and X and 12 and this and that. It's like, man, we got to make sure he can really go and execute what we're asking him to do first and foremost, which is play F and play corner. So I think as we go and as he goes, I got to believe that it'll continue to do this.
That's why you see more Parker when Diami goes down.
Correct.
So more opportunities for Parker.
Yep.
I know he was very transparent with us about the 2 drops.
Yeah.
You said he had a great practice last week.
Yeah.
Expectations for his usage this
Yeah,
week.
I think, I have not lost any confidence in Parker by any means. Stuff happens. It's not obviously something that we were excited about in the moment, but he takes a lot of responsibility and accountability. He works his tail off every single day. Like I said, he literally had his best week of practice last week as a Jag since we've been here. So, there's a lot of confidence. Really, the message to him is, dude, like, we got to just move forward, man. You're putting some really good stuff on tape. You're practicing. You're doing all the right things, man. Those things will come, and hopefully that was just a one-off.
In watching the tape, have you been able to put a finger on the drops?
No, not quite. I think one thing I mentioned the other day was just we've got to attack the ball more, I think, with our hands instead of letting it maybe get into the body at times. We always talk about not trying to let the ball cross our eyes. So if it's an in-breaker or even an out-breaker, trying not to let it cross you this way at all. There's a difference between the ball being, here and going and getting it there. That's just kind of the way that's how we're trying to coach it. And every rep and walkthrough that we have when we're not throwing the football, those guys have been getting all last week a catch. So they're jogging back from a run play and they're getting a ball. So we're trying to do as much as we can in order to just confidence, just continuing to build confidence that we can go out and make those plays. We need to go out and make those plays for our offense to be able to go and go where it needs to go.
Pull back on the field, play base. Does Juszczyk sort of change that equation with how versatile he is for them?
Very versatile. I coached against him when he was at Harvard. I was at Brown, and he was a tight end, slot receiver, wildcat quarterback. He was dynamic then, and the amount of years he's played in this league at that position is pretty darn impressive. And his ability to, block at the point of attack, lead up on linebackers, come across and bluff and go block a safety or a corner because of his athletic ability. And then, it is sneaky getting him out in the pass game because you're saying, well, a lot of times where is he in the formation for run game tells, but then they do a nice job of marrying some of that stuff up to sneak him out in the pass game. In the past, they've used him as their pass protector on third downs as the running back. So ton of things that they've done with him, and have a lot of respect for him as a player.
You mentioned taking advantage of downfield opportunities. What does an offense have to do for that to kind of start clicking?
It's got to happen out here. It's got to happen out here. We got to be able to do it in practice, and then it'll probably happen in the games.
Brock Purdy to play this week?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think we're preparing for both scenarios. Obviously, two different style quarterbacks. Brock has been able to operate that offense at a high level. Obviously, he's off schedule. He can make plays. He can escape and use. He keeps his eyes down the field really well. And then if it's nothing there, he can take off and go a little bit. So, we're preparing for both scenarios as best as we can, and whichever way it kind of plays out, I think our guys will be ready.
Speaking of Niners injuries, no Nick Bosa, what are your expectations? What have you seen from those young defensive linemen that they've brought in?
Man, Huff and Mykel Williams, correct? He's those two guys specifically on the edge. That obviously, Joey, that's where he played. I mean, they're good players. These guys Huff has affected the game in multiple different ways with his speed, rush, being able to go on the edge in those known passing situations. And then Williams is an every down player right now for them in terms of, he's big dude. The way that they coach them up front is to roll off the ball, and they're kind of stopping the run on their way to the quarterback. He fits that model, does a nice job playing violent against tight ends. It's still a challenge. I mean, it's for us, obviously, with Bosa, you never want to see that happen for any player, especially somebody that is so dynamic for them. You don't want to see that happen, but it's not. Those other two guys are going to be able to go too.
Last one here.
Go ahead.
Garnett got a lot of run in the base defense today.
Yeah.
What makes him a good fit for what Camp wants to run?
The play style, I think, first and foremost, you'd say. Just the ability for him, it's kind of relentless for him in pursuit. I think you've seen throughout the last 3 weeks him just kind of getting a little bit better and better, more comfortable coming off the injury. He He can rush, obviously, a little bit, but he'll blow up tight ends. He throws his body in there, and then he can go play in space, right? He's been a career special teams guy. People have used him. Arizona used him in the rush, but also dropping out, catching interceptions, tips. The way that Dennis plays is something I've always really respected. I've kind of said that a few times, and he's the right type of pro. The way he takes care of his body, the way that he does things, is put himself in a position to earn more reps and to help contribute for our team to go win.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.